Here we go, take two. So I tried doing this video earlier and got it uploaded and everything. Then you guys told me that there were some issues with it. So I'm going to try and go back over the information, but we're going to be covering it a little bit faster. It is getting a bit late. And yeah, so anyways, welcome everybody. If you guys are new to the channel, it's nice to meet you guys. Feel free to subscribe. Feel free to hit the like button. Feel free to turn the bell notification on, anybody, if you haven't yet done so. That way then you know when we have new videos going up and you be sure not to miss some of this very important information. Okay, so what we're going to be talking about today, we're going to be talking about several big key things. We're going to be talking about Bitcoin, Ethereum, Orchid, as we normally do, chainlink, as well as band protocol. So let's go ahead and take a look at what is going on here. And we're going to start with the news. So in regards to Bitcoin, financial advisors are saying that Bitcoin is the next Amazon. Well, why? Why would they be saying something like this? So here's what they're saying about Bitcoin, and then we're going to compare it to what they have said in the past about Amazon. It's a bubble. We've heard this many times, right? It's just one competitor among many in the field. It only has a few million users. It's used for crime. It won't be able to scale up enough to grow into its valuation. It doesn't generate cash flow and probably never will. Okay, now you look back at Amazon in 2005. So not even when it was first created, but we're just going back to 2005, okay? One, has recently suffered a bubble and bust in which its stock lost over 90% of its value. Two, still has plenty of online retail competitors. Three, has only a few million monthly active users. Four, is regularly used to evade sales tax. Five, seems unlikely to grow into its valuation. And six, generates no cash flow. So you guys could probably see a lot of the comparative narratives here between both Amazon and with that of Bitcoin. And how many people do you think, looking back at Amazon, people nowadays wish that they were there during that opportunity? There's a lot of uncertainty when you have new companies. And that goes with altcoins, and there's a lot of speculation with things, and lots of stuff could happen. A lot of things could make it explode. A lot of things could make it implode, right? So it's just something to kind of keep in mind with this. So Amazon became a major internet platform whose market capitalization exceeds $1.5 trillion, even while continuing to munch away at a total addressable market that is multiples larger. Even today, Amazon only has 7% share of the retail market. It still has ample room to grow. Think about that, 7%, not even 10%. I mean, we're talking about a single digit number in its footprint in this whole industry space. And the guy that's the head of all of it, right? Jeff Bezos, richest man in the world. So that's for a stock. Now imagine if something like this for a currency, especially a digital currency, right? A decentralized currency on top of that too. So that's some really good news. On top of that, they're saying, according to the Motley Fool, that this is Bitcoin's defining moment. Well, when you look at everything that's going on, especially in the United States right now, but around the world, what is it that largely tends to push Bitcoin's price up? And it's a lot about the narrative against the dollar, inflation, and this is more like a deflationary asset, a hedge against inflation. And there's a series of other things too. So it says, when the financial system seems strong, the demand for Bitcoin is often eased lower by contrast. As of late Thursday, November 5th, the results of the 2020 U.S. presidential election were still unknown. Vote counting continued to proceed, and legal challenges to the results could create uncertainty for weeks to come. The COVID-19 pandemic is putting unprecedented pressure on the global economy. Tens of millions of Americans are out of work, and discussions for further government stimulus measures have run into a political wall. Central banks around the world are resorting to extraordinary measures to shore up the financial system and ensure some measure of stability. However, many believe that there are few additional options for central banks to take further action if current measures fall short. Back in May, the reward that Bitcoin miners received for their work got cut in half. Past halving events have often led to a subsequent rise in Bitcoin prices. It's becoming increasingly easy to buy Bitcoin and use it in transactions. Electronic payment giant PayPal became the latest company to offer trading in Bitcoin, as well as Ethereum, Bitcoin Cash, and Litecoin. As mainstream companies increase adoption, Bitcoin will become a more common way of conducting transactions. So you've got a circumstance with the election. This is one of the things that my first version I had talked about, and I'm going to touch on this too. So you have uncertainty about the actual votes because of the whole lawsuits that are going on, right? And there's recounting that's going on right now too. So the fact that this could take weeks, the uncertainty, it makes it more volatile. Bitcoin could move up a whole bunch, but let's be honest, it could actually pull down a whole bunch at the same time because nobody really knows what the next direction is of our country is going to be going with the new leader. At the same time, if we announce a new leader very soon, there might become more stability. So this big rocket that has already started to move its way forward, once we see the settled direction of where things are going to go, a lot of people that were uncertain about investing, maybe now they feel more certain because they feel it's more grounded. And to have a stronger launch, you got to have a good foundation to work off of, right? So I think that is actually some really cool informing news as well. And then this is beautiful. I'm not singing. I'm sorry. My throat is destroyed. That's another reason why this video is going to be a little bit shorter than the first version I did. I did like a 25-minute video. Everything, I'm going to use the same thumbnail and tags and stuff. It's the same subject, but oh my gosh. One of those days where you're just so frustrated. You spend all the time and energy to get it up, and then it's like, hey, your software wasn't working quite right. So that's just great right there. Oh God, now that's spiking up. I got to get those headphones turned down too. Anyways, I appreciate all of you guys being here and all of you guys being a part of the community. If you haven't yet, hit that like button or subscribe. Please don't forget to do so. And let me know any thoughts and opinions you guys have in the comments down below. So Ether. This is talking about Ethereum 2.0. Ether has hit multiple records and news that Ethereum 2.0 could launch as early as December 1st, according to crypto analytics firm Glassnode. Today's launch of the deposit contract introduced the ability for users to deposit 32 Ether required to participate in staking. ETH 2.0's beacon chain genesis will take place on December 1st. If at least 16,384 deposits of 32 ETH each are received, that's a total of 524,288 Ethereum, worth about $200 million. Hours after the news was published, the number of Ethereum addresses holding at least 32 Ether hit an all-time high of 126,852. Prior to the latest rise, this figure had hovered around 123,000 since June this year, with fluctuations only in the hundreds of addresses. This means that around 13% of all addresses currently holding more than 32 Ether will need to participate in order to launch staking. Should this amount not be met, the launch will be postponed until 7 days after the threshold is hit. The likelihood of it having to go 7 days afterwards, in just my own opinion, I'm not a financial advisor, guys, but looking at this information, I think it's very unlikely. The fact that the news came out and then there was a substantial increase in people that were getting Ethereum to specifically around those numbers largely indicates that there's a high level of interest from people of being these people to go off and do the staking. So December 1st is looking really promising and really good for Ethereum 2.0. Now, if you don't have Ethereum 2.0, why should you be concerned? Why should this be of any interest to you? Well, for a couple reasons. One of which is the fact that this has been known to be a great indicator when Ethereum prices move up for Bitcoin. And sorry, my nose is itching too. And in addition to that is that we also see altcoins typically rally alongside that as well. And what is a lot of the altcoins built off of? The Ethereum blockchain. So if Ethereum ETH 2.0 launches and prices skyrocket, don't be surprised if a lot of the cryptocurrencies, especially the main ones that are built underneath the Ethereum blockchain, those decide to go on a huge run with it because it tends to follow the wave when we look at this historically. So this is going to be super interesting. And I mean, think about it. That's 3 weeks away, right? 3 weeks away. We're already seeing things starting to skyrocket a lot. ETH 2.0, more bullish news, 3 weeks away. So let's go ahead and take a look at ETH and see how things are going right now. You can see there's a huge candle that's taking place. And once again, guys, as I've mentioned before, this kind of news information is very bullish for a lot of the industry space. And we're going to see that here right now. One key thing to take a look at, we need to get Ethereum above these previous levels. So if it can break above $488, I mean, the only other instance that we really have is a major zone is predominantly going to be a big form of contest at $827. You can see a little bit of a lower region here with previous shoulder patterns right there, but over at that roughly $830 level, and then you got pushed back up to around 1,218, but the peak 1,428, right? Can this hit $1,500 before the end of next year? But I'd say before the end of this year. Is it possible? You see how fast this rally took place, and you see how fast the rally took place with a lot of other coins back in 2017 going into 2018, right? Yeah, it is possible. Is it likely to happen though? We'll have to see. I think there's a good chance of it going towards in 2021 though. And so when we take a look at Ethereum 2.0 and this news, very bullish, of course, and just once again, kind of looking at this on a more micro position on the daily right there, it is having a green candle. It is above the 21 EMA. That is all good information. The RSI is showing it is a little bit overbought, so we'll have to see if it's able to maintain. We're already seeing a bit of a pullback on the daily, and it's had 4 days close all in the positive, and at some point it does need to turn red. But when you got major bullish movements like this, the sky's the limit, guys. So we're gonna go ahead and close that out for Ethereum. Then we take a look over here at, let's look at Band Protocol, because with Band Protocol, according to Coinbase, it had a massive explosion. It was one of its leading pushers. And Band Protocol, why is this so important? It's also a leading competitor against Chainlink with the way that it's built and how it operates. So that's very interesting. And we can also see that with this huge spike up, it did close above the 21 EMA, which is very bullish, good news. But the trends, guys, you want something more reliable? You want to look at 2 or ideally 3 or more instances. So the fact that we only have 1 day that's closed above the 21 EMA should be a little bit more cautious. It looks really promising with that massive spike up, but as an investor, what do? You buy low, you sell high. On a macro perspective, you look at this as a whole, you can see that, well, you're talking about the low, it's still way lower than its highest point right there. Sure, if we're talking about it from a micro position, it had a huge spike up in a very short amount of time, and this isn't something that's normal. And so you got to be a little bit more cautious with this. Otherwise, you're taking more of a gamble rather than a calculated risk. And the whole reason of us doing technical analysis is to look at probability. What is it more likely to do as to what it's less likely to do, right? That's one of the big key takeaways with something like this. So, has it broken above 21 EMA? Yes. Is it too high on the RSI? No. So things are still pretty good right now, but you want to keep an eye on this, guys. And next, we're going to go ahead and hop over here to Chainlink. Again, I'm kind of trying to move through this a little bit faster. I guess I'm actually still doing pretty good on time. And looking at Chainlink, so Chainlink having a really good daily, 6.46% on the whoa, whoops, that's not supposed to be on the 1 hour. There we go. 6.46% on the daily candle. You can see it had pullback as well. A lot of things are moving and starting to pull back already. We're a couple hours into the new day as it is, but yesterday also did really well. And same thing, just like Band Protocol, closed above the 21 EMA. Not too high on the RSI. It is starting to get to that kind of higher point, but we were much higher earlier today on the daily candle, and then it had that retracement back down. So that's going to force a little bit of its position a little bit differently there. And yeah, we got to kind of monitor this and see how it moves with everything. Ethereum, we saw its big move up yesterday, and we even see a big move up today. And this move with ETH 2.0 is very bullish. And a lot of people are probably wanting to stack up Ethereum to kind of get prepared with everything. And guess what? Remember, if a lot of people are stacking up on Ethereum and Ethereum's price is going up, and Ethereum has historically shown to be kind of a leading push for Bitcoin and for other cryptos, this is all starting to fall in place like a puzzle that's looking very close to a clear picture of what likely is to happen next. So if you ever wanted signs of when that big explosion is going to happen again, like it's happened in other spaces in the stock market with this stock and that stock and this and this, and you look at Bitcoin back in 2017 and the previous years and these moments, right? They go in cycles. So at some point, we're going to have another massive, huge explosion. Is that time right now? The election, everything else we discussed, right? Is it right now? Is there this perfect storm that's building to just do something that's going to blow everyone's minds? And it could, in theory, go to $500,000 for Bitcoin. And if you don't believe me, I made a video about it. Go check it out on my channel. Lots of other people have talked about this before. In my video, I use real comparisons and break it down as to how this is laid in comparison to something else, and something I think that people really need to remember and take away from this, because I know 500,000 sounds insane, right? Bitcoin was a penny, less than a penny when it started, even $100 by that standard, because no one used it, no one was doing anything with it. To think that there was so many of it out there and there's no demand that it would hit $100 at some point seemed ridiculous then, right? And we're talking about a currency. We're not talking about a stock. We're talking about a currency. It is a currency. So there's high demand for currency, for exchange. Although a lot of people are looking at this like a store of value, like gold, right? Like a digital gold. So I think it's very important that people be aware what's going on right now. And if anyone hasn't invested into Bitcoin especially, or any other cryptocurrencies, and you're watching this video, or you want to refer this video to somebody else and they're watching it at this point in time, just so you guys know, when you're looking for that opportunity, it's basically staring you in the face. And this could be a huge opportunity for you. I'm not going to tell you how to spend your money. I'm not going to tell you what you should invest your money in. Based on the research that I've done, in my opinion, and everything I've looked at, this is really exciting. It's really exciting to see everything that's been building up and the progress that's been moving forward. And I'm so happy to be a part of this ride and to be part of that generation to where this can help move my life forward even more, and a lot of other people's lives. And it's just a really exciting time. The way that this can be integrated with so many different things. I'm sorry, I know I went a little bit off topic there. But yeah, so then, I mean, we look at Bitcoin, and on the daily, it had pushed even higher yesterday, had a little bit of a retracement back and further down, but it came back up and it closed. It basically was right in the median zone and hadn't really established itself going much either direction. And as of today, another push up, further correction down, came back down, slightly down technically, right? But you know what? We need to have red candles. It's organic, especially with a massive growth like this, for it to kind of calm down, cool down a little bit, and then continue its rally up. It's more natural. It's more organic. We all want it. I mean, except for the people that are shorting it, but let's face it, those people are crazy. And if you're watching my video and you short things, you're crazy, okay? You are loco en la cerveza, in the beer, okay? It's not even in your head anymore. Your head is out the window, and the beer is sitting on the windowsill, and there's a cat coming, it's getting ready to knock it over. You want to interpret it that some way and make a picture out of it? Guess what? You can. You know why you can? Because you're crazy. Okay. Sorry. And yeah, so we want to take a look at this. We're basically in uncharted zones, guys. Like, it's getting to the point where the major zone is going to be $20,000. And if it goes above that, the sky is the limit. And when you're in a rocket ship, you can pass through the sky and then there's just empty space. And you keep going until you finally hit something, right? And over here, we got 17,228. That's another key level and a more short term to really have taking a look at these things, I'm noticing intervals of roughly around $750 range, the $500 range, and the $1,000 range. So if it breaks above the $500 range, it starts to have a further rally, it's pushing close to 750, and then people start to pull it away, and it starts making its way back down to 500. So it's got to pass above 16,000, I would say, establish itself there, and there's going to be even more FOMO at that point than it was at 15,000, because more people are realizing that like 20K is looking more realistic, right? And then so on and so on. And so that is with Bitcoin, that is with Chainlink. And then lastly, we're going to talk about the baby orchid. I got other videos on this on my channel. If you guys haven't checked those out and you want to learn more about this, then you definitely can. But you know, the big narrative with this, I've said over long term, is that that orchid, the technical analysis shows it going down more. And I said, you know, we have a descending wedge pattern here, which suggests a reversal and the price should be going up. But, and that's a big thing, you got to kind of press, right? The but on that is, it's a big but, is that it has to go above a certain level. And I would point out where the level is and would have to establish itself there. And the establishments are 2 to 3 patterns. And we haven't been seeing that. If it broke above, it didn't stay long enough, it retraced further down. And so as much as I want it to be bullish, the indicators are bullish, the simple fact is until it meets a standard within that pattern, then it is still bearish. And I've talked about this in my videos over and over again. So there's no bias behind it, even though I have investment in it and I want it to do well and I want to be able to make a profit off of it and I want to see the company do well and see them expand out and be a part of that experience. I am still, at the end of the day, an investor, and I can't invest off of these emotions. And especially when I'm making a video and I'm talking to you guys about the technical analysis on this, I try to be as in the middle and just look at the facts as I can. And so here's the facts right now. I talked previously, I said in my video yesterday, we got to get above resistance, which we've done now. It's red line on the top. We've broken above that. Said we had to get above the 21 EMA. That's the next major zone. And guess what? We did that too. Ironically, it was in the same day, big green candle. But again, I also said we need 2 to 3 days of continuation, of further establishment to really verify and validate that this pattern is actually on a move before it has any chance to retrace itself. And guess what? We're seeing a decline right now. It's pushing back down and it's right on, or right near, it's just above the 21 EMA yet again. And as much as I want it to do well, as much as I want all the signs, guys, it's still overall bearish at this point. It has that big green candle, but don't be blindsided by that. It has to pull above, it has to establish above, it has to form its foundation and its base before it can actually explode up. Don't let a huge green candle blind you into thinking that that's the sign that everything's looking good. Because people that invest in right now, they might get wrecked. They might. I'm not saying they will. They might get wrecked. Why? Because it's at the top of that candle. It's not at the bottom. You buy low, you sell high. Be careful, guys. Be careful. I've been loading up my bags. If you look at it in the broad retrospect of things, personally, I look at this, it's still a really great price. And it's not too late to get into something like this. That is just my opinion, though, because I've looked into the research of what the future of Orchid, the company behind this crypto, is looking to expand out into, besides just the VPNs with the nano payments now and the marketplace, well, not now, but in the future, right? So that's all very promising. Anyways, so I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up this video. It looks like it turned out to be the same length anyways. I don't know how I managed to pull that off, but I hope you guys enjoyed this video. This is take 2 today, and I really hope the audio is totally clear this time. And yeah, guys, please drop a comment down below, and let's form a good, strong community with a lot of good people. I'd love to hear your thoughts on everything, and feel free to tell me how you guys are all doing. If you're seeing some good profit gains, if you're noticing anything in your portfolio, if something that you invested in is doing better than something else and you're a bit surprised, all that good stuff. Thank you so much, guys, and I will see you in the next episode.